Alright, so we already showed these figures off, but I'm just, doing this all live, and I showed all the other comics. I showed the back, or started showing the back, so I should show the back for this one. So, trying not to get too much glare. So, there is the classic one from 1984 on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, you have the tribute cover. And the cool thing with that is you can hopefully see that it's, close, but in some ways they did change the covers. So if you're thinking, well, I don't really want that figure, which I don't know how you could not want these figures. I mean, these two look pretty cool. I think the pants on them have some problems, and maybe the hip joints. Not that they don't work, but just the sculpting I don't think is that great on them. But, you know, for a complete figure, these are, great figures. And so, if you can really justify saying, I don't like those figures, I'm never going to get this comic pack, I don't really want to open it, well, you definitely want to, because you do get a comic that, at least the cover's different. So if you have a display or something, I would definitely recommend finding this and opening this one. And then there's the description of it. Alright, so I believe most of those comics I have two of. Some of them, if I really like them, I have three of. This one, I can't explain how this happened. Maybe what happens sometimes with me is I try and do my best to not buy things offline, but every once in a while you do, or maybe Hasbro is selling them, or so sometimes you just end up getting things not really necessarily on purpose, at least with me, but through different sales or whatever, you'll end up with more. But not that I had any real reason to, like, oh, I want these figures so bad, I need this figure so bad. Yet somehow I did end up with three of them. This one, and then this one, and this one. Sorry, arms tired. But so somehow I ended up with three of them, and even though you get a battle damaged Snake Eyes, and of course everybody loves Snake Eyes, and then you get kind of a Storm Shadow here, I don't think I ever really was looking at this pack saying, gosh, I really want to get those figures really bad. So it's kind of interesting how I ended up with three of them. But anyway, so we have an exclusive comic, and again, see, it doesn't say written by Larry Hannema, so I wonder if it was or not. But it is a reinterpretation, or in the middle of one. Like this says, I didn't read the description on all of them, but we'll do it for at least this one. Silence Between Borders. In Larry Hannema's new story, Silence Between Borders, readers at last discover everything that took place between the pages of classic G.I. Joe comic number 21, Silent Interlude, and just like the original, it's told without any dialogue or exposition at all. And if you don't know anything about the original 21 issue, I would definitely recommend trying to look up what information you can about that issue. I could say what I believe in my head happened with that issue, but I could be wrong. So I would rather you guys try finding out what history you can about it than misleading you guys. But definitely a issue that is rather popular, both for what it is and then also the backstory for why they did no dialogue. I mean, most people will say, that it's because it's Snake Eyes and he's, living the story. But yeah, I guess I might as well say it. But I believe what it was is um, they there was a printing issue with one of the comics or something, and Larry Hannema had to come up with a comic rather quick to fill in for the original that was going to be released or something like that. And so he didn't have time to rewrite a whole story, so instead he did storyboards and then had uh, the artist and everything just draw the drawing, and then that way they were able to get this at the time, the issue 21 out. So I can't remember the complete story, but I believe that's what it was. There was a printing issue or something happened, so they had to come up with a story really quick, and this was the way to Larry Hannema save the day. So that's what I'll say about that. So yeah, somehow ended up with 3 of those. This one I know for sure I ended up with 3 of, but of course I wanted these figures so bad, so I opened up the 3rd one, and it's the Kroonsman twins. You get Tomax right there, and if I'm saying it right, Zaymont right there. And some people don't like these figures, but I'm rather happy that we got them, and there's some cool little additions to the detail that they did, and kind of like the original packaging, they did at least give some foil sides to the pack to kind of mimic the original iconic 1980s release of their pack. Because I'm not sure, but 2-packs, at least in the 80s and probably in the 90s, were kind of rare. I mean, there wasn't really ever a reason to release 2 figures together. Sometimes you get the ones where they're the 3-pack with the Renegades or Cobra Law or, some of the other sets, but most of the time just to have 2 figures released together was pretty rare. I mean, I think there's some other ones, of course, that were, I think they started packaging like Voltar and somebody else together because they were ultimate enemies or whatever. But I think at least when these guys came out, they were the first 2-pack at the time. And of course, it makes sense, because they're twins. But I just think so much thought went into the original twins. So I actually have the original twins somewhere, of course, but of course I went through all the trouble of getting them. I never got them carded though, so I still have to own that someday. But again, if I would have known that, 5 years or whatever later they were gonna release these, I probably would have never got the original twins. But these are awesome. So I have 3 of these, and I think that's mostly because one to open, one to keep closed, and then one to have just in case anything happened to the figures that I had open. I still had a backup. So I do that every once in a while. I get some backups. So then we'll go on to kind of starting to go to some of the single pack figures that I have. So here we have the Cobra Reptile Trainer. I have 2 of those. I still gotta open them. And then if you've seen my kind of parade video that I did a while back, you know that I have quite a bit of these. But right now, we just have 2 of them. I'm sure once I go through that other box that I just recently found, I'll find more of these. So probably redo this video later. And then Zartan, I believe I only have 1 of these, and again the reason why is because I was okay with the one that came in the I believe it was the second 5-pack for the G.I. Joes. Some people don't like him because he's got kind of a hot pink chest plate or whatever, but I'm okay with that. And so I've only had 1 of these, and I haven't opened it, and it's mostly because This, as much as it's awesome that they gave the swamp skier or whatever, it's not, as great as the one from the 80s. And so there's really been no reason for me to justify opening up this Sartan. But my time's up, so we'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye.